and welcome to Life in Envelopes. I am Jennifer Bleecher. This channel is all about planning and budgeting. So if those are topics that you are also interested in, then please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you along on this journey. In today's video, we are going to be closing out our family budget for the week of September 1st through September 7th. I closed out my budgets on Thursdays, and then I do my cash envelopes on Fridays. So I will be doing a cash envelope stuffing video tomorrow. I hope you will come back and join us for that. So I am using the Budget by Paycheck workbook by the Budget Mom. I do have a link to her website in the description box below. I don't know if she has any physical workbooks left. She does have printables available, but she's not releasing a new workbook for next year. So, you know, that starts in January 2023. I was able to purchase one of her last year versions of this. So they might still have some of those available. I get that question a lot. That's why I'm telling you. I don't know if they're available or not, but you can get it in the printable version. Okay, I'm also using Cara Jo Plans category stickers. I do have a link to her Etsy shop in the description box below, as well as a coupon code for all of my YouTube viewers. All the other stickers that you see in the workbook, those are from my shop, Life in Envelopes, which is also linked below in the description box. So this sticker pattern is called Sweater Weather. So when you're shopping in my shop, there is like a search bar, and you can type in like sweater weather, and then all the sweater weather products I offer will come up. So let's go to the expense tracker to start with. So I write down all of our expenses here, and then I make a category key at the bottom of every page. That way when I go to close out the month, it makes it a lot easier. You may notice there's less color up here than normal, and that's because my income was less than it normally is. We like to have me bring home $500 for my income. My income comes from Etsy, YouTube, Buy Me a Coffee, Patreon. It's a combination of all those things, and I'm currently trying something where I try to pay myself $500 every week, even if I make a lot more than that in a week, or I make a lot less. Unfortunately, last week, we weren't able to do that. We just didn't have enough money in the business account to give us $500. We only had enough to pay us $170 and still have enough in our business account to cover expenses. So that's why we weren't able to do all of our categories. We were only able to do a few of them. Okay, so let's take a look at where we spent our money last week, starting with bills. So we paid State Farm, which was $133. State Farm covers it's our insurance for our car and our house. We also had HBO come out, which was $17. And then we paid $5 toward garbage. We just set aside $5 every week in a cash envelope because it's paid every 3 months. And then Alliant Energy, we set aside $10 for that. I will pay Alliant every month. That's our gas for our house. And I pay it every month, but it comes out of my paychecks, which are week to week. So to lessen the burden, I've divided the payment. So it's an average of $40 a month. I divide it by 4, bringing it to $10. So $10 a week is set aside to pay for our gas for our house. Mortgage came out, moving on to debt. Mortgage came out for $1335. And SUV came out for $118. Okay, moving on to food. We ended up spending all of our food budget for this week, which was $190. Originally, it was going to be much less, but thankfully we had some Buy Me a Coffee donations, so we were able to up that, and it was so nice, you guys. Having money for food is just so nice. Okay. Moving on to gas. We skipped gas this week because we had a lower amount to work with, and we already had money in our gas cash envelope, so we went ahead and skipped that this week. We skipped miscellaneous just because we couldn't afford it. We just couldn't afford it. So we skipped miscellaneous. Spending money we did do. For spending money, I get $20 a week, David gets $20 a week, and Logan gets $5. Logan is my youngest son, and David is my husband. We skipped, well, we did do the savings challenge actually, but we didn't use any of this income to do the savings challenge. We used cash that we had left over in our envelopes from last month. So that does not account against this income here. Sinking funds, we did do sinking funds. I originally wasn't planning on doing sinking funds, but then when that money came in from Buy Me a Coffee, we went ahead and did sinking funds. Okay, so let's take a look at the budget worksheet. We're gonna look at two budget worksheets. The first one is my monthly budget worksheet where we pay all of our monthly bills with David's paycheck. So we set aside, we're able to pay most of our debts and our bills with David's paycheck. Everything else I cover with my variable income from my side hustles or my business. It's not really a side hustle anymore because I do it full time. So we're going to start with the monthly spread first, and then we'll get to that week-to-week budget. Okay, so to start with, David did actually bring home $21.28. This very rarely changes because he's on a fixed income. He's paid the same amount every month, but every once in a while he'll get like a little bit extra for some reason. So, but usually that doesn't change. Mortgage came out this week and it was $13.35. State Farm came out this week and it was $133. I was really surprised. Sometimes there's a little variation here, but it was exactly what we budgeted. Maybe I'm just getting better. Maybe that's it. I'm just getting better at budgeting. HBO came out and that was $17. Is that it? No, SUV also came out and that was $118. So that's it right now. When we set up the budget, we were gonna have $3 extra. So far, we haven't had any changes on what we budgeted, so we are right on track at this point in time. We will come back next week and do more next week. Let's go ahead and move on to the weekly budget now. Okay, so starting with our income. So I brought in $170 through my income, but I also received $110 in donations through Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you guys so much. I gave them a shout out in the cash envelope stuffing video, but I never, ever, ever expect you guys to tip us by buying me a coffee, and I'm always so surprised when you do and so thankful when you do. I hope you know like how much I appreciate and am thankful for you guys. Always, but especially when you buy us a coffee because you're using your own money to help us, and I halfway feel guilty and halfway feel extremely thankful. I have confused feelings on the matter. But this week in particular, I was especially grateful because I was able to buy more food for my family, and that's always very helpful. So $280 total in income that we had to work with for this week. Loan number 2, we had extra money from last month because we had an extra week in the month last month. So I was able to cover that without having to take any of this money to cover that. It was already left in the envelope. Garbage, we set aside $5 for garbage and $10 for Alliant. So that's a total of $15. So $280 minus $15. That is $265. Okay, I'm going to bring that down here to our variable expenses. These are our fixed expenses. So our variable expenses are food, gas, miscellaneous, and spending. For food, we spent we had budgeted $110 before we had the money from Buy Me a Coffee, but after that we were able to spend $190 on food, and we did indeed spend all of it on food. We did not purchase any gas this week, and we did not put any money aside for miscellaneous or purchase any miscellaneous items. For spending money, we did do the 45. So 190 plus 45, that's $235 that was spent on variable expenses this week. So 265 minus 235, that left us with $30. I'm gonna bring that up here to our sinking funds. So we didn't think we were going to have any money at all to work with at this point in the budget, but again, we had the money from Buy Me a Coffee, so I did put 30 of it towards our sinking funds. We put $10 towards car maintenance, we put $5 towards car registration, 10 towards Christmas, and $5 towards vet. So we were able to put $30 towards those expenses. So that brings our budget down to 0. So we didn't have anything extra for extra debt or extra savings. If I did have any extra money, I would not have put it towards extra debt because that's not our focus right now. Right now, our focus is is saving up $1,000 cushion in our bank account, so when we're low, we have a little bit of a buffer. Now, I did end up putting money in our savings challenges. I ended up putting $20, but that didn't come from this income here. I had some extra money in my gas envelope, and I used it for the savings challenge. So I thought about that. I thought I could add, gas money, add $20, and then mark it here. But I try to keep things as simple as possible, and since that $20 wasn't part of this money to begin with, I thought it didn't exist in this budget. It existed in the envelope, but that was from last month. So anyways, it just didn't exist. So I thought it was easier just to not write it down. You may disagree with me, and that is totally okay. I am okay with that. Okay, let's set up the budget for week 2. Okay, so week 2 is going to cover the time period of September 8th through September 14th. Okay, so our income for this week is going to be my pay from all of the things. It's a combination of everything. So this pay comes from you guys. If you watch my videos, if you like my videos, if you purchase stickers from my Etsy shop, if you are a Patreon, all of that is how we get this income. So thank you to all of you. Thank you so much. So we're gonna have $502 to work with. I gave myself a raise of $2, so I needed that extra $2 to do all the things I want to do in the budget. So you'll see that in just a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and write down buy me a coffee. Again, I absolutely never ever expect any income from this, so I'm gonna put that to 0. But just in case we do get any income, I want to make sure I have a space for it to calculate it when we go to close out the budget. Okay, so that's a total of $502. I'm coming down here to bills. There are 3 bills that we cover with my paychecks. The first one is loan number 2, and we pay this, so this is a debt, and we pay it once a month. Nope, sorry, that changed. We pay it every week. We pay $142, but it's now coming out straight from my bank account. Every week, $142 goes to that company to pay them. Okay, and then garbage, this is the cash envelope that we do. And again, we're gonna do this tomorrow, the cash envelope. So my plan is to set aside $5 for that. That is a bill. So the difference between a debt and a bill is debts will eventually be paid off and bills will never be paid off. I'll always have to pay for garbage, but this loan will eventually be paid off. And then I have Alliant Energy, which is the gas for my house, and that's a bill. And we're gonna set aside $10 for that tomorrow. So all together, let's see what that would be. So all together, that's gonna be $157. So 502 minus 157, that's 345 that we have left to work with. So I'm gonna bring that down here to our variable expenses. So these are cash envelopes that I have, like an actual wallet that I carry around with me. That's where this money goes. And these amounts can change greatly depending on how much income we have to work with. So my variable expenses are food, gas, miscellaneous, and spending money. So for food this week, we have our actual amount that we like to work with. So I'm gonna be able to do all the numbers that I actually want to do. So we normally budget $200 for food. 100 of that is for Sam's Club. We do the scan, as you're going through the store, you scan with your phone. That way you can skip the line. So we do leave $100 in our account for that. And then the extra 100 is for any other items I need to go to a different store to get, because we can't always get everything we want at Sam's. So that extra 100 is for that and for eating out. So this is all food categories. Gas, we're going to set aside $20 for that this week. Miscellaneous, we're going to set aside $50 for miscellaneous. And spending money, we're going to set aside $45 for spending money. I had a really good question about what's the difference between miscellaneous and spending. Here's how we kind of categorize it for our family. So spending money, I get 20, David gets 20, Logan gets 5. Each family member gets to spend that any way they want. They don't even have, we never discuss how we spend our spending money. It's ours to spend any way we want. Miscellaneous, these are for expenses that I feel should be covered by our family budget, but we don't have a space for them. I could have like many categories. Like I could have like a clothing category, a shoe category. You know, I could have many categories, but I'm trying to simplify my budget. So I don't have all of those categories. And instead I have just this miscellaneous category. And that's what we use to cover things like shoes, clothes, medicine, things for the house, like cleaning products, like anything that doesn't fit into one of these other categories, that's a miscellaneous. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so let's see all together how much that's going to be for our variable expenses. So we have 200. That's $315. That leaves us with 30. So we're going to bring that 30 up here to our sinking funds. So we have car maintenance, car registration, Christmas, and vet. So for car maintenance, we're going to set aside $10. Car registration, we're going to set aside $5. Christmas, $10, and vet, $5. So altogether, that's going to be $30. So 30 minus 30 is 0. So we have zeroed out our budget at this point. So we don't have, we're not doing the extra debt. Okay, so coming down to our extra savings, we do have a couple of savings challenges that we are going to do tomorrow. At this point in time, I don't know how much we're going to be putting towards that. I will be taking some money from food and from miscellaneous to do our savings challenges. So the food, miscellaneous, and savings challenge, the actual amount next week is going to be a little bit different because that's how we're currently doing our savings challenges. I don't have any extra money to designate just for savings challenges, so instead we take it from our food category and our miscellaneous category. We also will, if we happen to get any more Buy Me a Coffees, that will also be added to our savings challenges. So all of that's going to happen in tomorrow's video. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't predict the future. So you guys will have to come back tomorrow and see how it all works out. Okay, so that brings our total down to 0. We like to end the month with 0. I'm sorry, end the week with 0. Okay, friends, so that is it for today's video. Again, I'm going to be doing the cash stuffing tomorrow, so I hope you will come back and join me for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, will you please give it a thumbs up? And I will see you all again next time. Bye, everyone.